Hi, my name is Ted. When I was at Fuller Seminary, I had a teacher basically saying that the Pietists were some of the strongest supporters of Adolf Hitler. And I found that a little bit troubling, but just maybe it was, I don't know. I never knew for sure until recently I dug in to find out if that was true, and what I came across was even more troubling. I didn't find anything about the Pietists, but I did, by the way, Pietists are those who believe that you have to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. What I did find is that people in the United States, the born-again Christians, the fundamentalists that preceded the evangelical movement that we know of today, the fundamentalists, they had some in their groups that were very supportive of Hitler. I want to talk about them simply because they are so much like the people who support Donald Trump. Now, I'm not comparing Donald Trump to Hitler. I don't want to do that because they're not the same. So in no way, shape, or form am I comparing those two leaders. What I am doing is comparing their Christian followers. And that I see a huge similarity. Before World War II began, seriously months before it began, the strongest supporter and the most vocal supporter of Adolf Hitler was an evangelical / fundamentalist, and his name was William Bell Riley. William Bell Riley was huge in the fundamentalist movement. He pastored a church in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He had a lot of hats. He was a preacher, he was a pastor, he was an evangelist, he was an administrator, he was a debater. He could debate all over the place. He was an author, an educator, a civil leader. He took things to court constantly. He fought his own denomination for several issues. He fiercely fought for the Bible to be put in the schools and kept in the schools. He fought against evolution. He fought against communism, modernism, liberalism. He fought his own denomination for stricter doctrine from missionaries and churches. He fought legalized saloons. He fought relaxed sexual practices of his day. He fought, most of all, the Jewish takeover of the United States. This was huge before World War II and even after World War II in Christian circles. They believed strongly that the Jews were taking over the world in the entertainment business, in politics, in just every area of society. And they believed that we were on the verge of collapse in the United States because of this. And we needed to take back our country. Does this sound familiar? They blamed the Jews, but not the religion. They blamed the political Jews. They saw them as the ones who were coming from Europe and establishing these liberal teachings throughout the United States in doctrines. And not only that, but these atheistic Jews, these liberal Jews were coming and taking over pretty much every area of our society, including Hollywood. He believed they were behind the battles pushing against him personally. He believed that they were heckling him at his anti-evolution debates. He believed they were the marchers, leading the left wing throughout their cities. They took over entertainment, stores, higher education, businesses, government with Franklin Roosevelt and were controlling him. He debated against unemployment insurance and old age benefits. He saw no place in the Bible where the government should be handing out money. He was a powerful orator. He had a powerful voice. He had strong convictions. In 1925, he pushed William Jennings Bryan to become the lawyer against John Scopes in the Scopes trial. William Jennings Bryan won that trial, and shortly thereafter, Jennings died. In 1947, he pointed to Billy Graham and says, "You take over my school." And Billy Graham did for 3.5 years. He had other battles. When the United States marched into the Philippines, Riley claimed this was not God's will. He even said it in a prayer. And unfortunately, the news got a hold of this and put this out in the media. And because that was out in the media, he was deemed to be unpatriotic, because people felt like this was the patriotic thing to do, is fight in the Philippines and take the Philippines and take control of the Philippines. But he feared Japan would get involved and we might have a big problem. In 1934, he had no patience about the critics who were silent about millions dying in Russia, while all the time tearing out their hair the moment a Jew communist in Germany had his store closed. In 1933, 8 years before World War II, Riley was quoting Hitler's attack on the Jews. The Jew, he said, has ruined our race, rotted our morals, corrupted our traditions, and broken our power. He lives on our troubles. Now, once again, he's not attacking the religion. He makes that very clear in his writings. He attacks, and he is attacking, what he considers the secular Jew, the liberal Jew, the atheistic Jew. In 1937, he quoted a letter from fellow fundamentalists who had been traveling in Germany. And of course, if you're traveling in Germany, you know everything about Germany, correct? Well, many people think that way. Nevertheless, a new Germany has risen, he quoted. And I'm sorry to say, much of what we read in our American newspapers is nothing but slander. There is no question in my mind that Hitler was an instrument of God. Have we heard this lately? Somebody being an instrument of God, a Cyrus? Hitler was an instrument of God to save Germany and Europe from the red beast, meaning from Russia, meaning from communism, from the left. In 1939, we're talking just a little over a year before the war starts, maybe two. Still supporting Hitler, he argued that Jews in Germany were being punished, losing their stores, losing so much, being put in prison. They're being punished for their subversive politics and not for their religion. In other words, he's justifying Hitler. He's saying, Hitler, you're doing the right thing. Go after those secular Jews. They need it. We need to protect our civilization from those types of people. He believed that the Jewish left would destroy the United States shortly if they had their chance. In 1941, when World War II began, he quieted down. 1 month later, an article came out in a magazine, another conservative fundamentalist magazine called the American Prophetic League. And the article was called, Let's Come Clean. The article's writer said, basically, we need to come clean. We need to repent. There are fundamentalists that need to repent for rebuking those turning against those who turn against the Jews. Calling them for smearing anyone who spoke out against Hitler and anti-Semitism. I have seen people talking to others, saying if you don't vote for Trump, you're not a Christian. I have seen people wonder in amazement, how can you not vote for Trump? I'm not going after Trump. I'm not saying he's a Hitler. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying his followers, those people who support him and bring Trump into their churches, are following in the footsteps of Riley and others. Step by step. This article claimed that if Hitler took the United States, it's the beginning of the war. He doesn't know how far Hitler will go. The writer doesn't know. Nobody knows at this point. Hitler is taking one country after another in Europe, and nobody knows if maybe he might someday be on our shores. And what do you think is going to happen, this writer says? Well, Hitler's going to use this fundamentalists teaching that the Jews deserve it because of their politics, because they're taking over the world. And not only that, but the rest of the world already sees fundamentalism as a tool for Hitler. Do we see evangelicalism going and becoming a tool for a political party? You bet. We're seeing that today, and it is wrong. He never mentions Riley. But the Minnesota Jewish Council, reading this article, got the addresses of all of the people in Riley's church, all the members, and they sent every one of them a copy of the article, calling them to come clean and to repent. As I mentioned, I'm not comparing Hitler to Trump. I am, however, seeing a huge similarity between the supporters in both groups. There's a hatred of the left. There's a fear of the left ruining our country, and a really huge fear, to the point of, and I wasn't going to talk about this, but QAnon, look it up if you don't know what it is. Their basic premise is that people on the left, Hollywood all the way up to the top, and billionaires, are kidnapping children and selling them as sex slaves, or killing them and using their blood so they can extend their lives. This is so close to the myth, or the legend, to the story that was floating around Europe at the time of Hitler's rise. And that was that Jews were taking little children, kidnapping them, and killing them using their blood for special meals. I think it's called matzah. All right, so are we seeing similarities? Are we seeing similarities? There's preaching from the pulpit, supporting leaders, political, earthly leaders. Something is happening in our churches nowadays, and this something is not good. It is unholy. This is Ted.